I now call to order the Thursday, October 24th, 2019 meeting of the City of Sugar Land Planning and Zoning Commission. Item 2, public comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission with regard to any of the matters on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to item 3, the minutes. 3A, consideration of an action on the minutes of the October 8th, 2019 meeting. Does anyone have any changes, corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Landine, seconded by Commissioner Stevens. Is there any discussion? Okay. Go ahead and vote, if you would. I think Matthew Gallagher is, I don't believe he's here. It's showing him present. Oh, it went. Okay, I wasn't sure if it would show up. Oh, well. Did it go in? Are we good with the vote?
Did
he log in?
No, he's not here.
What's
But
that
it's
yellow
showing.
on Jay's? What's that?
What?
What's that yellow one on Jay's?
Well, because Jay and Matt aren't here, but it's.
Matt doesn't show that. What's it show?
But I think the problem is that they're waiting on Matt to vote, but he's not here, so. Matthew Gallagher.
Yeah, but I thought that's what it looked like when you don't vote. What's that one? I'm looking at that one.
Oh, here he is. Okay. Well, we'll wait on Matt so he can come vote, I guess. So.
You got this thing all held up here.
Grand entrance. So we just we're voting on item 3, the minutes, and Commissioner Landine made a motion to approve them as presented, seconded by Commissioner Stevens. Yay. Okay, passes. Okay, moving on to item 4, public hearing. 4A, receive and hear all persons desiring to be heard on the proposed rezoning request from interim standard single-family residential R1I to permanent zero-lot line single-family residential R1Z for approximately 21 acres located at the southwest corner of Eldridge Road and West Airport Road, or Boulevard. Excuse me. Go ahead, Doug.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, good evening. We have a tradition here when we have introduced new case planners. Laura Waller has been with the city since earlier, right at the beginning of the summer, and is going to have her first case before y'all. She's been working with the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So I just wanted to introduce her. And also I did want to mention formally from City Secretary's, City Manager's Office, Natalie Serrano is now the city's assistant city secretary, and I'll be periodically with y'all too. So we're real glad to have her.
Good evening,
Laura. Yeah, good to have you.
So we're going to begin with an overview of the case. So this is a vicinity map. This is the city limits, and you have Eldridge Road here, and then West Airport Boulevard. So this is on the north side of the city. This is approximately 21 acres, informally known as the Silva Tract. It was annexed in 2002 as part of the airport extension in order to get it from this east part of Eldridge over towards Glen Laurel. The current zoning is therefore interim R1I. It was never formally zoned, and the proposed zoning is R1Z. So that would be zero lot line, single family. Survey, the actual area of the property is 20.6418 acres. So we round up in order to make sure that the entire area is covered. And this survey just gives you just a little bit more information and the size of the property. It is a fairly large, thin property along West Airport and Eldridge. An aerial map to kind of give you a better understanding of the immediate vicinity. This is the property in yellow. It's 2 parcels according to the appraisals district. It is unplatted, so that can be rectified whenever the plat goes forward, probably early next year. The Greenbrier neighborhood is immediately to the south, and Reserve at Glen Laurel is to the west. And then across Eldridge and Airport, we have neighborhood business, so B1 zoning, and that includes a Walgreens, some small shopping centers, a high school, and a church. The 21 acres that's pictured here is mostly softwood trees and dense underbrush. It is also, the proposal zoning is again R1Z. For compatibility with the future land use map, here's the entire city. So we're looking up here in this northern corner and a zoom of that area. So again, you can see the property. It's the solid yellow here is suburban neighborhood. So that's any single family residential. So R1, R1Z, R1R are all considered suburban neighborhood. So this is compatible with the surrounding areas as well as with the future land use map. The neighborhood businesses across the streets will also help to support any needs of the people that will be living in the neighborhood in the future. A couple site photographs. This is the public hearing courtesy sign. And this is a view from West Airport in the median of the road. So you can see it's dense underbrush. It's mostly softwoods and a lot of just overgrown shrubbery along the ground. So just for your edification, some R1Z standards for the lot sizes. It is slightly different from the standard R1 that you might be more used to. So minimum lot areas are 5,000 instead of 6,600. Width is 50 feet rather than the normal 60. A lot depth is 100 and front yard setback at 20 rather than 110 and 25. Coverage is at 50% and rear yard setback is 10. The main difference is actually where you site your home on the property. So R1Z requires at least 51% of the home to be on the property line on one side and then 10 feet off on the other, rather than the more standard 5 and 5, which is R1 and R1R. So some initial points for your consideration. This property was annexed in 2002 and given interim R1 zoning, but permanent zoning is required prior to platting and further development. It's currently unplatted and undeveloped, so we're not amending a plat. It needs to be platted from the beginning, and so it's raw land. The proposed zoning district is the request of the property owner and developer to develop zero lot line single-family patio homes. And all of the thoroughfare, comprehensive, and future land use maps and plans support this proposed zoning. Public hearing requirements were met. There was a sign posted, as you saw in the image earlier. Mailers were sent out to property owners within 200 feet, and there was notification published in a newspaper as well as on the website. We did receive 2 general informational inquiries. One of them is the piece of paper at your chair. It was mostly asking about what the meeting was for, and then another phone call that was, they just wanted to know what type of residential homes were going to be in this area. So I assured them that it is single-family residential. So next steps would be to hold a public hearing and then have discussion and direction from the commission. We anticipate consideration and action on a subsequent meeting, potentially November 12th. Staff and the property owner and developer would be happy to answer any questions you have after the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. I will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone that would like to come forward and speak on this item. The item is item 4, the public hearing for the interim standard single-family residential R1I to permanent zero lot line single-family residential R1Z for approximately 21 acres located at the southwest corner of Eldridge Road and West Airport Boulevard. Did you want to speak, sir?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, and if you would start with your name and address, and then when you're done, just sit down at the dais and fill out a speaker form.
Sure. First name Ubaldo, U-B-A-L-D-O, last name Romero. I live in 13442 Greenbrier, and I don't see a lot of my neighborhoods in here. I was expecting more. And I want to know how this is going to affect the value of our houses. And it's going to be upper class condos, lower class condos, what kind of level, and is it going to affect our taxes too? That's my main concern, and that's pretty much it, how this is going to affect the value of my house.
Okay, thank you. We can't respond, but thank you. We hear your questions. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and move on to review of and discussion on the proposed rezoning request from interim standard single-family residential R1I to permanent zero lot line single-family residential R1Z for approximately 21 acres located at the southwest corner of Eldridge Road and West Airport Boulevard. I would really recommend, if at all possible, that you all meet with these residents and maybe answer some of their questions for them. Right now, we don't have any plans for the neighborhood, so all we're voting on tonight, or not voting, we're not going to vote tonight, but all we're discussing tonight is allowing the new zoning to be put in place. So as far as wanting to get answers from us, as far as what the plans are, those aren't before us, just to clarify to the resident who spoke. Does anyone have any questions for Lauren or the applicant? We can start over here. Suzanne, Andy? Go ahead, Suzanne.
Glad to have you with us. My only question is, are there any like buildings in the area? I think the resident was referring to him having a home in the area, and these might not be homes. Obviously, they'll be townhomes, zero lot lines.
So
no.
let me clarify. We're not discussing anything but whether to rezone this as R1Z. So we don't have any plans for what it will be before us, and we can't speculate or discuss any of that.
I would like to
Okay.
clarify, though, R1Z is separated single-family homes. The only difference between R1Z and R1 standard is that the home is on the property line on one side and 10 feet off on the other, rather than 5 feet and 5 feet. And some other minor square footage issues that come because of the location of the house on the property. So
Thank you.
they are separated single-family homes. It is not condos or multifamily.
Thank you. That answers that.
We read that we're in the consideration phase of this item.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Andy, did you have any questions? Did you have anything else, Suzanne, before I move on? Okay, Andy?
Just for my knowledge, I don't remember there ever being anything on this corner. Is that
Correct. It's
correct?
undeveloped, it's unplatted, it's raw land. It was annexed in 2002, and nothing was
But
ever
there's
done with
never,
it.
like,
Right,
ever in our knowledge that there's ever been anything here?
correct.
All right, thank you.
Matt?
Yeah, just a couple questions. So was the interim designation made at the time
Yes,
the
in
land was
2002.
annexed? And do you know what the thought process was at that time for bringing it in as R1I?
I cannot say for certain because I wasn't here, but I believe that it was a continuation of the neighborhoods to the south and to the west.
I'm going to elaborate a little further, as Laura was saying. Normally, when land's brought into the city, unless the council specifies otherwise in the annexation ordinance, whatever zoning is generally going to be interim. They could specify an interim other type of district, but the general standard is interim R1. So unless it's an area that doesn't plan to have any residential at all. So even back in the older land use plan, I can speak from even I believe the 2012 and the 04, this has been seen as a residential area. So that would have been pretty standard to bring in. Again, generally, the city waits for a proposal from an applicant to literally go ahead and conduct that final zoning when it's raw land, it's not platted, that type of thing. So,
All right, thank you.
and again, as Laura said, we want to make sure there's no confusion if anybody's watching the meeting as well, whether it's watching at home or watching online. This is not for multifamily. This is not for townhome. These are single-family homes just like we have some R1Z neighborhoods in Telfair, we've got R1Z neighborhoods throughout the city. It's just a different style of single family. What R1Z does not allow, though, the commission or the council to do is specify a type of house or a style of construction beyond one side on the property line, one side 10 feet away. So it's not like your PDs or those type of things where you get into design. But again, it's 0 one side, 5 the other, and you continue to walk those across so that no matter what, there's always 10 feet between the units. One is just aligned with the property line.
Okay, and one other one, another question. So I noticed, Laura, too, if you want to take this one. So as far as the compliance with the comprehensive plan, the staff notes say this proposal is generally consistent with the future land use plan. So when I see generally consistent, to me, that means it's somewhat consistent, but it may not be.
So it is single family and it is also suburban neighborhood, but because it's technically a slightly different zoning in our current zoning, that's why I said generally, because it's R1Z versus R1. The future land use, however, has it as suburban neighborhood, which is 100% compatible across all types of R1 zoning.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. Dan, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. Carl?
Yes. On the page 8, I guess, under the 0 lot line, where you're spelling out the lot area, 50 feet. By the way, Matt, for your information, when you drive down the street, for anybody, you will not know that it's 0 lot line because it'll look like any other subdivision with a 5 and 5. This one will just be 10 on one side, but the street scene will look, it'll be 10-foot separation, so you'll never know that it's technically. On the building setbacks, I'm confused on, you got the rear yard as a 10-foot.
Correct. R1Z rear yard setback
Yeah,
is
but
10
my
feet.
question is, if there's a 14-foot UE, why would you have a 10-foot building line? Because you can't encroach the 14-foot UE.
Right. At that point, the encroachment line would stand as the building line.
All right. I appreciate that they included a survey, except they need to darken it up, brighten it up, something. You can't read any of the wording on it.
Okay.
So we need to, I want to see that. And then there was, where's that? And there's a letter here to you, I guess, Laura, from Meta, their planning group.
Yes, that is the representative of the property owner.
I know who they are, yeah. One here, it says, "We will continue to review the staff comments on the proposed land plan and prepare a revised plan for a separate submittal for staff review." That's for the plat, Doug, or this hadn't do anything? I don't know what that
Correct.
means.
This has, that is comments regarding the plat and future site layout that will come before the board probably maybe January or February. So they're working on staff comments for those issues before they even come to you.
Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with this.
It doesn't have
what we're
anything to do
doing
with the rezone.
tonight. So, probably would have been better not to be in here. Wouldn't have had to ask a question. But other than that, looks fine to me.
That's all you have? Okay,
Yeah.
Taylor?
None for me.
Okay, AP? I'm good also, thank you. Okay. Anybody have any direction for staff? Okay, just to clarify then, that this is standard single family, not standard single family, but it's R1Z and it will be single family homes. And it won't be condos or anything of the like, but that's not what we're reviewing tonight. It's just the zoning change. So does anyone have any direction they want to give to staff before they bring it back? Okay. So it won't be voted on tonight, it'll come back. So once you have a chance, you're welcome to come to a future meeting and make comments when it's on the agenda for us to vote on. Go ahead, Carl.
When it comes back to us, it'll only be for the consideration of the zoning. Is that correct?
That's
Correct.
right.
So we got to get the zoning, make a recommendation, and I guess it has to go to council, right?
Yes, sir.
Before they submit any plating or anything like that. Is that, am I
Correct.
correct, Doug and Laura? Okay. All right.
And if you're interested, I'm sure that you can talk with the city staff and they can keep you up to date with what's going on. So, okay, with that, we will move on then to item 5, reports. 5A, Planning and Zoning Commission Liaison Report for the City Council meeting held on October 15th. And that was Jay, and he sent me his report. He's not here tonight, but he said that, let's see, the item 6 at the city council meeting was the Hill Community Engagement Strategic Project, and I will let him give you more information on that at the next meeting, but there was a vision statement. The Hill neighborhood with homes dating from the early 1900s has a unique identity. Front porches and sidewalks shaded by mature trees evoke the small town charm of the original company town. The design of the homes and walkability encourage neighbors to interact, distinct in a city of master plan communities. The vision of the Hill community is to recognize and protect the character of the neighborhood while allowing homes to adapt to modern day needs. There was a recommendation, I guess, for 2 phases moving forward. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Doug. Modifying the HR1 zoning district to include homes east of Wood Street and north of Lakeview Drive into zoning districts, and revise development regulations for garages and front yard setbacks. Okay, so that was one thing that he sent me the write-up for. The other one was a public hearing and first consideration on the rezoning of 21 acres from B1 1 or B21 to B1 or BO for the commercially developed areas in the Great Wood community. Let's see, and then appointments. And that was appointing Kathy, Carl, Dan, and Jay to P&Z to fill terms ending September 30th, 2021, and to appoint me as chair and vice chair, Carl as vice chair until September 30th of 2020. And that is his report. Okay. And if he wants, he can elaborate at the next meeting on more of that. And then item B is the city staff report.
Very brief. Your next meeting in November is November 12th, the Tuesday. You're only scheduled to have one meeting in November based on the way the Thanksgiving holidays fall. And that's what we have currently. We anticipate 2 items for you, bringing back the parking garage lighting that we had workshopped with you for a hearing, and possible action depending on how the commission feels on that. And then we anticipate bringing this R1Z zoning based on the comments tonight. We should be able to bring that back for consideration and action. And as Commissioner Stevens said, then that will be going to council. Based on notification, it wouldn't be sooner than December to be at the city council for that. That's all we have.
Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. And thank you. Commissioner Gallagher, do I hear a second? Second. Okay. Okay, thank you. I know, thank you, Commissioner Simeon. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're now adjourned. Thank you.